All right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, Day 96. So for the daily update, there's no update on these items. I finally published a new video, so that came out at 5:30 today. Sadly, no work on the world domination plans, and no run eviction work today. So today, we'll continue on with work on the terminal block mining simulation game. Orthoplex 64, as always, sends a wave. Yeah, I guess just before I came on, I saw there was a massive earthquake and a tsunami. I haven't looked at any of the latest, but it seems like it just happened. That could be a big deal. Okay, so UI still broke, understandably. I pushed the changes that I did last night for the new test. So yeah, I think we'll work on an improved version of this test. Redman says, "Hi Rob, how's it going?" We try to not get banned. Excellent. So, what I think I'll do, I'll maybe turn this into a generic thing. I liked your employment video. Plumbing is good trade. Yeah, I've heard in a few places, like, I don't know, it just seems like such a stereotypical profession to recommend these days, but I've heard other people say, like, I think I heard an accountant say that they did the accounting work for people's businesses, and they never observed plumbers that were in a bad financial situation. Although I do wonder, like, there's so many things in the industry changing now. I wonder if like doing everything these days is not the same as the way it was years ago. if it's more like stupid regulations and licenses and stuff like that. I have no idea. No insight into that. What are you working on? I am currently working on some unit tests for a terminal-based video game that I'm currently working on. I fix cars for a living. How is that that profession? I've heard that like from what I understand about that, it's getting. I think I watched a couple of YouTube videos on that. That like that as a profession is kind of dying out. It's getting like everyone wants to be super cheap, and the labor involved in like taking off a part is really high. And if you like work for a place, like, cause if you do something wrong, the customer's super angry, so it comes out of your pay, and you're on this like, there's a trade-off between trying to like spend less time on it to make it, you know, worth your time and money, but then also when you spend less time on it, you make more mistakes. So the whole thing is very difficult. And also with the kind of anti right to repair stuff, that's with the transition to like fully electric stuff, it almost seems like it's going to be illegal to work on your car now. Customers are annoying. Put 2 kids through university and bought a house in Vancouver suburbs. Wow. When did you buy a house? It seems like the pre-2014 era, that was when like it was expensive, but it was still kind of doable. But ever since 2008, okay, that's an ideal time to have bought in. Is there for repairing cars now? Is it how has it changed in the last 10 years? You have 2 houses. Nice. Marketers moved to dealerships. Work at a well-known Japanese dealer brand. So does that mean like the place where you get it repaired is the same place where you buy it? 25 years experience, every day is a grind. Yeah, I would imagine that gets repetitive. Although I guess once you like learned everything about that model, it would start to get it would get a bit like easier and faster to actually get through the work. The first time you take apart something new, it's always very difficult. There's always like a couple screws somewhere you don't know about. Take an easier, less stressful job, but make half the money. You're married, have a mortgage, family, you don't have much choice. Yeah, I would imagine the pressure is definitely there to bring in the money no matter what. Be back later, dinner time. Time for bed. Already. I guess it's 10:18 here. I haven't been watching, or I guess just before I came on, I saw that I think that like just happened like 10 minutes before I came on. There was a crazy, huge earthquake and a tsunami. Has anyone seen news about that? I didn't even have time to check where it was. But I just clicked on Twitter and I saw like a bunch of posts that were high up saying it was an magnitude 8.7, and there was at least some tsunami. I saw a video of like a tsunami off the coast of Russia somewhere. Why are you warning from Russian quake? Yeah, it was somewhere up like north of Japan or Russia. Let's go. You're back. Almost day 100. Yep. 4 more days. you quitting streaming after 100? That's a good question. I was kind of thinking originally I would, but I don't know. Maybe I'll have to keep going. I mean, I can't do it for 100 days and then stop. Game Dev Chad says, good evening, Robert. How's it going? I'm still broke at 33. Unsure how to get monies. I made a video I published today about just kind of a general career advice. That'll answer some of the kind of generic career questions people ask me. I can just say, tell people it's a convenient thing to have, like, when something requires a long answer that I need to articulate well. I just say go watch this video. Buy Ripple, not financial advice. We'll appreciate it greatly tomorrow. Nice. I don't have any money to buy stocks, but thank you for the advice. Hope you continue. It's fun. Cozy vibes. Yeah, I do kind of like the idea of making progress. So now that I finished the last video, I'm gonna maybe try and work on this a bit for the next couple of days during the day, and then try to get through some of these annoying get that whole screen merging issue figured out. Do you think it's better to be your own boss, entrepreneur, or to be an employee? I mean, that's a personal question. There's pros and cons to either. I guess I mean, if you think about society overall, it's not possible for, like, if you said literally every person is an entrepreneur, then how would you hire? You wouldn't be able to hire people. There'd be no one to work anywhere. But if every single person was an employee, then you basically just have like North Korea. So I guess there's to each his own, I guess. Just watch the video. Based. Excellent. I aim to produce based content. So we have a failure in my test case. Now, why does it fail? Maybe I swapped those. Active and changed. To understand all of this code, you're very intelligent. I don't know if you just spend enough time on it. If you spend 2.5 hours every single day for 96 days, it'll become easier to understand. Why are 90+% of the women on Tinder unattractive? I actually don't. I've never even tried Tinder. There was a couple times when I was like, maybe, I guess that's like a normal way to meet people now. So I Googled, like, I just Google it to, read about it and kind of understand the, like, what is the dynamic on there. And basically everything I saw, like, I checked the subreddit for it, and everything I saw in there, like, from both the men and the women, is just like, this is not, and some people posting stats saying, like, they swiped through, like, 300,000 people and took 8 years. And at that point, it's so much time invested in that. It's like, I could use that time to do something else more productively. Like, it just seems like the whole thing seems so disconnected from any normal dating process that, and I don't have the spare money or time to think about that right now. Why would attractive women need an app to find dates? I don't know. I think there are like very attractive introverted women who just, like, are shy and don't go out places. Like, a lot of people in modern day society just, like, they wake up, they go to work, they sit in their cubicle all day, then they go home, and then they look at TikTok for a bit. And I think that's a pretty common story for men and women. Oh, I'm coding a site. Excellent. All right, now to make this work with multiple layers. How do you manage to not age? You haven't aged since you started the channel. I don't know. I think I have. I don't know. I think you can kind of see. I mean, I guess maybe I started balding early, but I think you can still see a bit of balding progression over since the start. And actually, on some of the, like, honestly, I never really know. I can't really see myself that well in the mirror, but for some of the cinematic shots, when I filmed those and I can, like, see my face a bit closer, I'm like, oh man, I got wrinkles and stuff. Maybe the terminal block mining game, when it goes multiplayer, could have a dating app feature where you can match up with other block miners. It's a possibility. Maybe you're onto something there. World's number one dating app. Just curious, why use Java for a terminal-based game? I guess the question is, which languages to not use, first of all. Yeah, it's a desktop application, so JavaScript is not really, I mean, you could technically, but I've written in a lot of C, and C is not for anything with like string manipulation and stuff, and especially with manipulating a lot of data structures. And something that specifically it doesn't need to be in C because it doesn't need to interface with the kernel or hardware. So C would be unnecessary. C++ is not right for a lot of the same reasons. Rust maybe would be a candidate, but I don't know Rust. I think if I was to choose maybe one other language I would possibly consider is maybe Go, but I actually don't. I don't know any Go. Why did not choose Java for Minecraft? I guess that's an interesting question. I would be kind of interested to know if he had a reason for it. What is the title of the video you put out for figuring out what to do in life for money? Like the video I just put out today, or I don't know if of another the closest match that you're describing is the video I put out today. Game Dev Chad says gasp. I'm not sure what the gasp is for. I think it's called what should I do with my life, in quotation marks. Have you ever done web development? If you have, do you like it? And would you recommend it to a newbie programmer who wants to make $? I have. Like that is probably where, historically at least, that has been where most of the money is made. Like actual building like user interfaces and stuff. Yeah, a lot of the stuff I've done, it's been closer to the back end. So stuff interfacing with the database and application layer. I deliberately kind of pivoted my career away from that, just because there's so much. There was like in JavaScript, there's so many frameworks and stuff coming out all the time that it was clear that like there's no new value being created by this. And it's just like a random treadmill of of learning new frameworks and stuff. And I learned React, of course, and I've used that. But even the React ecosystem, it doesn't stay the same. They're just like reinventing new stuff. There was like React hooks, which was a thing for a while. I think that's still used, but I tried. I was almost going to start a project that involved React, and then I started learning about like Next.js and stuff. And when I had first learned React, Next.js did not exist. In the whole like NPM package management system is just so fragile. It just like there's always new things to learn about it because it's constantly broken, and there's very little value added. And I remember doing I remember going through like I hadn't built an app in a couple of years, so I just Googled like how to do Hello World React Hello World React.js NPM, and I found this like simple like basic tutorial on like medium.com, like here's some basic commands to make this, and even the Hello World example was broken because npm had already changed something, and like this was a fresh project. I got this like failure message, is like, you must be upgrading npm from a deprecated thing, but this thing failed or something, and then when I finally got it running, the Hello World React.js was like 400 megabytes of dependencies for the npm folder, and of course then you have to like webpack it into this giant monstrosity, and so that that whole I decided it just doesn't make sense. I'm not actually building much in my career. It had been pretty lucrative, so that was kind of the big decent way to make a bunch of money. Just go to work at a big tech company somewhere doing front end, or I think ideally back end is better because it doesn't change as much. You have a very unique personality. I've never come across someone with your type of personality in my life, I don't think. And also a very unique person as well. Oh, thank you. That I guess bodes well for my content. People, if you're the same as everyone else, then there's no reason to watch you. So I had an idea for a game recently. Got an idea for a product to sell based on that lesson you have in secondary school, where they give you an egg to look for to simulate looking after a baby. Oh, I've never heard of this. They give you an egg. Is that a thing they do now? They give people an egg to look after? Gigamoni says, "Hey man, love the vid. Excellent. Currently figuring out what my next step is." Yeah, I get quite a few questions from people asking for like kind of general career advice, so I figured it makes sense to put it into a video I can refer people to. You ever have difficulty spending $, when you're tight on money overall? Like guilt on discretionary spending? Not really, I would say. I mean, I do kind of, there are bits of stuff where I could maybe be a bit more frugal and not spend this or that, but my, I'd say like discretionary spending, like if I have the cost, I would say I don't even really think about it that much, because my rent and living expenses, like rent is my main expense. If I did splurge a bit on something, it would be $100 or $200, and when living, and when the cost of rent is like $1,000 or something, if I spend like a bit too much on food, if I buy some like fancy food or something, but I guess it depends what you splurge on. If you are going on vacations and stuff, I don't do anything like that, or like buying expensive video game consoles or something. I don't that kind of stuff doesn't enter my mind. Instead of using an egg, you get a water balloon that you look after, a variety of characters that you'd look after, and you'd have to stop them bursting. I guess, I think they an idea for a game, I mean like a video game, or I got an idea for a product to sell based. I guess I'm not familiar with this concept at all. I do remember there was I think in high school there was a girl who really wanted to have a kid, like as soon as she graduated, and there was some kind of like the program where she would like get a doll and it was like it would cry and stuff, and she had to like bring it to class and take care of it and stuff. And it was just like a simulated doll thing. I've heard of that, but not anything else. The good thing though about the baldness is it's easily fixable through a hair transplant. If you were to ever decide to go that route, it doesn't, not really something I think about. I'll just like spam it all over the internet, and that way eventually you just get desensitized to it. I think those kind of superficial features are they're not good for first impressions, but if you just like if someone has a weird thing on their face, if you look at their face enough, eventually you you get used to it. I mean, I think it goes the same way, the opposite way as well. Like if someone's really attractive, eventually if you stare at them, if you look at them enough, you get tired of it, and then they become boring again. I combine this with Pokemon, creating a similar game where every Pokemon has 1 HP. You can only get hit once before being knocked out. And they also follow you around in the overworld. Interesting. I guess you said you get a water balloon. I don't know. So is this a virtual game, or this is like a physical product you buy? Loved the new video. I hope you do make one for the 5%. Do you make videos like that purely for monetary reasons? I guess for that video, I guess overall with the channel, I think about like what is going to be the impact and reach of this video. So I think for some videos, I think it makes sense to make a video that has a very like some videos have a potentially very large addressable audience. So that one could potentially be seen by, I don't know if it probably won't be a 1 million view video, but conceivably like 100,000 people could watch that, and it would apply to them, or even more than that. So I don't know. There's the general relationship is that the more people could potentially see the video, the wider the reach will be, and the more revenue it'll get. But a lot of the more interesting content I want to do is more specific, like Linux stuff. But I think it's like the more general audience stuff can grow the channel more. So if I want to get more views on the more specific videos, it'll help to do more videos that have a broad appeal. And it's also a bit of an experiment. Every video I put out, like if it gets a lot of views, then I know it should produce more of that content. Do you use Hugging Face on my GitHub as well? I've been trying to expand my knowledge in AI and Python coding. Hugging Face, is that an AI tool, for an AI coding tool? I have not used any AI coding tools yet, other than I tried Copilot on GitHub a couple times, but that was it. AI model repository. Okay. You can give the miner some hit points, have him be able to take damage and possibly die. This way you can have a hardcore version of the game. It's possible. I think the improvements to the server need to be done. Yeah, that implementing the ability, having the ability to implement that is one of the things that I'll likely work on once I get onto the next refactoring arc for this game. AI models mostly? Okay. It just hosts repositories and also maybe hosting the AIs themselves. I see. You should try Cursor. It's AI integrated, an AI integrated IDE. Okay, so Cursor is the name of the IDE. Does it support Java? What's the statistics on the number of people that could watch a video like that and get something out of it versus how many videos like that exist? We'll divide those. Know the potential reach. Yeah, that's a good question. In any of that stuff, you do have to consider the what's the addressable supply that exists. There probably are a lot of videos like that out there. I mean, there's also huge supply, but there's also huge demand. Lots of people want to not waste their lives, and especially if it's a relatively short video. I think it also in the algorithm, like your channel builds up a specific audience profile, so that video will probably go out to like what I had in mind was when the how to become a 37-year-old broke loser video, when that one trended, I was picking up a pretty broad audience of people. There were a lot of people in the trades and stuff who watched that video, who have nothing to do with programming. So I was kind of thinking about, if I can, some of that audience was on my channel, and I think those would have been some of the ones that fell off, like they didn't watch subsequent videos, or like don't care about the Linux ones. So maybe I could pick up some of that audience again. But it also trends too. I think it's kind of like a moving average. So if you post, my videos are, my style is pretty inconsistent, but I also think that means that the algorithm will work hard to find like what is the center of all those, like what type of person would be interested in all those different videos. And I think it's fine if some of them don't get many views and then other ones go viral. Supports everything? Okay. I'll keep it in mind for when I get around to actually making a I might do a video on my results from that, but I'll I don't know, so many things to do. Like you were just saying, I could also do a video for the 5%, but then that'll probably end up taking me a week or something. For a lot of the past few videos, I was like, I should just do this fast, crank it out in 2 days, and then I do it, and I think about how I can make it better, and it takes a lot longer. That's how I found your channel. Yeah, that video really blew up the channel. I think it was only like 66,000 or something before that. Subscribers. I think there is a Cursor plugin for NeoVim. It should support autofill for all languages. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll have to look into that. because I would like to stay on pure command line. That might work with multiple layers. Would you say world domination is your passion? Yeah, I would say I'm pretty passionate about that. I noticed the algorithm has been blowing up channels lately that have pessimistic titles. On my alt, I posted a video talking about how I wasted college for a useless degree and it blew up. People can relate, I guess. Yeah, it's interesting. I really wonder. I wonder how much it's related to like real intrinsic trends, like if it's just the public is feeling a certain way, but I also wonder if someone has their thumb on the scale and is like, the algorithm seemingly can just change a lot. It seems like things will trend in one direction for a while and then overnight it's almost like the real world. Like I mean, ever since COVID, we have like fads where everyone is super for or against something for 3 weeks, and then we move on to the next thing to be outraged about. Or algorithm equals recommendation system, applying statistics. Yeah, there definitely is, like from having done social media for a while, I don't think it's at all conspiratorial to say that there is, for certain types of content, like I don't think it's any kind of like harsh, like there is shadow banning. I think things that can cause shadow banning, I mean, this would be an interesting video to talk about, but there's specific examples of things where I think like I may have been shadow banned for certain reasons, but it's not like necessarily because, the government wants to censor you. It's because like, I think at scale, there's like some concept of like threat signals or inauthentic behavior signals that are not necessarily the same thing as like someone posting, being like, I'm angry at the government or something. It can be like kind of random stuff. Like for a while, Facebook had a rule that they really didn't like images that have text in them. And I was posting images with screenshots of like code, and some of my content was getting like flagged for a while, and I posted Facebook came up with this like shop feature where you could list products, and I'm like, oh, I'll just put a product on there, see if it gets any views, and see if this is like a good way to advertise. And I posted my regular expression fridge magnets, and instantly I got banned. I got this like message that's like, you have been banned from this thing. You posted an offensive, inappropriate item or something. And it was a picture of a regular expression magnet that was about I don't know, it was like a regular expression to find phone numbers or something. And it was just a picture of the fridge magnet with text on it. And that's probably because they had some, I don't know, there's probably something that people are using, like probably text and images to evade a filter. And then, so they use that as some other threat signal. You're Mac and you're angry at the government. Could it be the algorithm is an LLM based on trends of social media? Or just learn what people are interested in and feed in that? I think it's probably multiple things. Like it's probably everything that you can think of. I would assume that at scale, like you could think about like 50 different ways that the algorithm could work. And what you could do is you could just test all of them and see like which ones maximize revenue and which ones, like whatever kind of metrics they want to focus on, growth or add revenue and stuff. They could just test all of them and just stop thinking about it. And it may be that certain types of algorithms are better at certain times. Regular expressions are offensive, though. I guess so. Want to be reincarnated as a refugee so you can grift. All right. Thanks for letting us know. It's probably some layman thinking they're getting hacked or something. The thing that when I got banned from Facebook store, it was an automatic thing. It's just like as soon as I uploaded the image, they're just like, nope, you're banned. Right. All right, that worked. Now will it work with 2 layers? Nice. Will it work with 3 layers? Off topic. I'm just curious, what is your favorite song or band? people randomly ask me what music I'm interested in sometimes. I would say I listen to like random electronic music. Back in the day, I used to listen to DJ Tiesto. I guess these days there's a bunch of like funk music that comes up in my recommendations. Some of the like Japanese vaporwave music. Crystal Castles is another band that I listen to. I go through a phase where I listen to them a bit more. Just thought I would share my feelings. The guy at BetterHelp said I should do that. Did you actually try out BetterHelp? I just think it's silly talking about algorithm and bots. They're not just code. Build infra at the end of the day. I do think there's the algorithm has like automated aspects, but I'm like 100% confident that like if you start trending, like people put stuff on social media to get attention, to get views, but if you actually do start getting views on your channel, I'm 100% confident that there are like humans in the loop that will come in and like, you know, be like, it was, you know, if you're getting a lot of growth, that either means one or two things. Your content is good and people are watching it and it's benefiting the platform, or you found some kind of exploit and like you're doing something really bad. So there's definitely humans in the loop. And I would imagine there's probably something like a bubbling system. So the better your content does, the more scrutiny it gets for various kinds of things. DJ Testo. Japanese vaporwave. Yep. Just kidding. Yeah, that whenever I see those ads about like you should buy this therapy thing, like those are pretty sketchy. They're not like regulated therapists or anything. And they like it makes me wonder if like they're not just those services don't just exist to like gather dirt on vulnerable people. Admin like roles exist. Yeah, I guess just like admin roles, and I'm sure there's various kinds of review. On Nostr, I can say whatever I like. Nostr, is that a social media site or something? I'm surprised BetterHelp can operate without a license. Yeah, I don't. I haven't ever looked into them, but all these therapy things and there's other services that, like, in fact, like almost everything you see as ads in YouTube is like a bit sketchy to me. Like Honey, the service Honey was basically like stealing referral codes. And then there was that like Scottish thing where you buy a piece of land or something and it helps save trees. That was just a scam. Grammarly apparently is like they take your data and train on it and stuff and do whatever they do with your data. Have you heard about the new ID requirements for visiting adult social media sites in UK? Yeah, that's been on the news. We have the same kind of bill. I think they already tried to push that through here in Canada, and now they're bringing that back. Because what they want to do is they want to gather up everyone's ID, and then they want to like let themselves get hacked, because that's what always happens. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe they would be. I don't know what the laws are on that. All right, this works with 5 layers. It's actually a bit slow. Good morning. What is the last time you went to a hackathon? I might have gone to one in university, and then after I graduated and started my consulting business to try and get some leads and stuff and just like network. There was a period of time where I used to go to just meetup.com and I would go to every single event that was in the local area and just like chat and meet people and stuff. And that was, there were a couple like, I did go to a couple like hackathons or something, but one of them was, I remember it was it was a very disappointing one that they're like, we're going to have, free food and stuff. And it's, at this like restaurant place, and you're going to, I don't know, try and hack something or something. But it was actually when we went there, they had like just a couple of breadsticks or something. They didn't actually like have food for the event, for like adequate food for the event. So most people got like nothing and got a couple of breadsticks or something. And it was like the food was like 2 hours late or something, and they had technical difficulties, so they couldn't start their presentation to like even start the event, and it was actually I learned it was like hosted by some company that basically wanted people to test their product. It was basically like they were getting free QA work from people. And so it was not quite much of a hackathon. But I guess there is some kind of big hackathon here, Hack the North or something. And that's, I think, a big deal. I've never been to it. Stopped going after uni. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think I'm like kind of old. It'd be like, I'd be a 38-year-old person going to hang out with like 18-year-old kids who are just learning JavaScript for the first time. Any networking advice? I guess the most important thing is go to places where people exist. If you want a couple, actually depending on how your social disposition is, if you want to like improve your social skills, read how to win friends and influence people. That's a pretty classic one. And another one on like networking was called Never Eat Alone. Actually, I forget what was even in that book or what I learned from it, but I remember after it I was like this is pretty seems like reasonable advice, although I have not followed the advice of the title. In terms of networking, ideally you would find some you need to find some regular source of event and place you can go. One issue though with networking events is like the type of person who goes to a networking event. A pretty common thing is if you're like at your job, you're focused on your job, but then a lot of people would when they would get laid off, you would see them as like regulars at like all the local networking events. And that's kind of basically what I was doing, which was like I would just go to every single networking event. And so if you go to like a bunch of the related ones in the area, if there's a bit of a community in your area for that thing, then you may see the same person at multiple events. And that can kind of be the basis for like actually becoming networked. Because I don't really think, like, if you go to a conference with like 6,000 random people, you will not build deep relationships with anyone. But the relationships, like the real, relationships that lead to money or to something meaningful in your life, it's going to be like the 7th time you've seen that person. So the narrative, successful narrative is you go to an event, you see someone there, you say hi to them, and then you don't even talk to them for the entire talk. And then next week you see them again, and then you have a conversation about like, oh, that talk last week was bad, and you can relate over that. And then by chance you meet them at some other event at a third time, and then over time you kind of build up that familiarity. And then once you know a few of these people, if you can like be a part of some small community, then you go there and there's at least like 3 people there and then as soon as you walk in, you're like, oh, hey, how you been? What's going on? And it's like, you don't even need to break the ice. And then that just pulls in more people. And through that, people will just, random people who are there the first time will just join the circle. And then you're the most popular person there. And then everyone wants to do contracts with you. And then you make a ton of money. Now, having said that, the type of person that goes to networking events, like serial networkers, are weird people. So if you go to a bunch of networking events, then like there's a certain type of person, like if you do read that book, like Never Eat Alone, or like How to Win Friends and Influence People, you get kind of into those, like this like sociopathic serial networker mindset, and you're like, oh man, I just gotta like shake their hand really hard and stuff, and it's kind of cringe and unnatural. Like, it makes you seem like you're trying to pretend to be like a politician or something. And if you go to networking events, networking events are full of these places where like you'll meet someone and the first thing they do is give you their card, and you're like, oh, thanks. Like, someone who does like SaaS solutions for whatever, and you're like, okay, thanks, I'm never going to need this, like I'll just throw your card in the garbage as soon as you leave, kind of vibe. And there's people who go to these like conferences, they don't know anyone there, they don't have any deep connections with anyone, and they're like speed running, spamming their card out to people, shaking their hand, and they'll try to fake having a deep connection with people by saying their name and shaking their hand really hard and patting you in the back and stuff. And so those people are, I've met, you'll meet lots of those people. They're harmless, but I mean, in a way, those people are kind of only harming themselves, because they're just gonna spend their time like it's like I get spam email every single day from people who are like, hey, buy my consulting service. Like, I've been looking at your website recently, and you need SEO overhaul. My SEO service does this, and I just ignore. I get so many of those in my email inbox, and a lot of them go into junk, and I don't even open them. And if you scale that up to like millions, they're probably not even getting anything out of it. Almost 100 days. Yep. Close. Do not want to be one of these people. Yeah, the when you go to those places, like you also will meet like a lot of these kind of like sales people. If you're a salesperson, that might be a good kind of archetype for you. But if you go to these events, you also will meet like engineer, like an engineering founder who, like the stereotypical thing for a salesperson to do with those is like shake everyone's hand. There's like spamming, they're talking loudly and trying to fake friendliness, and then like the entrepreneur who's really getting stuff done, who's maybe an engineer, they'll be like standing by themselves and like not really talking to anyone, not making an attempt to initiate anything. And some of those people, you can walk up to them and initiate a conversation, and then find out that they're like, they've accomplished something really amazing, but they're super humble about it, and they just spent 12 hours working on their startup all day, and now they're relaxing a bit on the side. And so those people might be, depending on what you want to get, they may be better to network with. I'm weird only because all the DMT I did in the 90s. Okay. Do you go to networking events and hand your card out to people? I just watched the latest video. Very important stuff. And I learned it in economics class in high school. Excellent. It's good that it's resonated well with people. About to get my coffee, get my day started. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. You don't prefix commit messages. So everything I'm doing right now is just like throwaway work. So actually every time I just like commit with the a trash message, and then after I'll do like a diff, and then I just manually pull this into another repo. The stuff I do in stream is kind of like it's not there's sometimes when I go down a rabbit hole, and then I end up like after the stream I end up just throwing away everything I did on stream if I get stuck somewhere. But on stream it doesn't make sense to just think of the perfect commit message. No way, he's using my favorite commands. Excellent. How to make a CPU. I'm very glad that you asked that question, because I made a video specifically on that topic. Everyone keeps asking me how to make a CPU, so I had to make a video, so I don't have to keep repeating myself all the time. Lots of sand. It's actually quite a bit of work and quite difficult to pure it to 99%, 99.999%. That's fair. I usually end up with 1 million garbage branches, and I cherry pick commits. Like a Neanderthal to a newer, better branch. Yeah, the stuff I do on stream, actually just I clone the repo and build it, and it's also just a kind of good. I like building processes that like run through the full cycle of experience. So when I push it to like the public repo, and then by building off the fresh latest version of the public repo, I can be sure that it's always working and there's not some weird build issue or something. I guess I could still have some stuff with my local Maven repo, but great video. How to make a CPU one. Yeah, it's honestly it's incredible. It's what's it at now? It's I forget. Is it over? Let's see. It's like 13 million or something, isn't it? I kind of don't like how that video gets so many more views than every other video on my channel. And the worst part is I have some other videos on like semiconductors, but that I put a ton of work into, but they have like 1,000 views. get a $5 super chat from Game Dev Chad, but I don't like the direction of the line on that chart. Oh, that does not forebode bad news in the stock market. I haven't checked the market. I know the Russian market was down by like 1 or 2%. And I've been seeing lots of news that we're on the verge of a crash in the real estate market. And the Japanese carry trade is going to unwind any day now. Fed chief talks this week. Yeah, I also saw an awkward. I didn't see the context. The Fed chairman and Donald Trump were on on a construction site, and the Fed chairman, he seemed like kind of scared almost, but at the same time, Trump also seemed kind of almost like he was rattled by something. Did you see the huge earthquake in Russia? Yeah, actually, just before I started the stream, I saw that, and they said it was on the order of like 8.7 magnitude, which is pretty crazy. And I saw this clip of like some random fishermen on the shore, and the tsunami hitting the shoreline. Yeah, that happened just like 5 minutes before I went live. I don't know how big of a deal it is. Trump is probably rattled. They're closing in on the skeletons. His Epstein closet. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The more, like, for the longest time, I just ignored that whole thing because I'm like, I don't want to read all this nonsense, and I'm just, I thought, like, let them figure it out in court. But there's so many links to like so many high up people. I think anything, whatever's going on there is like, I think, massive in geopolitical scale. Like it seems to affect every country at the highest level. All those people know each other. Yeah, I don't know. And there was that, what was it? The guy who worked for the FBI said he's what he saw, he will never be the same after learning what he's learned, but yet they still don't release any of the information. They just keep foreboding about it. It's like, oh man, it's a big deal. You wouldn't believe it, but I can't tell anyone about it. It's almost like they want everyone to be interested and talk about it. Whatever happened to the drones from last year? Yeah, that's another interesting story. It's a big thing, and then just disappeared. I don't know. There was a bunch of like specific ones that were like, whenever you have a bunch of sightings like that, there's usually like several that are the like interesting ones, and then that'll be followed by like 100 other reports of drones that are just like normal commercial aircraft, because everyone wants to jump on the bandwagon. And those are the ones that get actually investigated and debunked. Actually, the new conspiracy that I keep seeing every time I go on Twitter, I don't know if it's just my Twitter feed, but I keep seeing there's a ton of people concerned about chemtrails and like weather modification and stuff. I keep seeing all these posts of like someone that has like some radar maps of the clouds, and they're like, look at this. This is totally not normal. And when I look at it, I'm like, is it normal? I don't know. I don't know anything about weather. Half my family has fallen into the far-right conspiracy rabbit holes. It's impossible to talk to them about subjects substantively. Like chemtrails, for example. It's particularly hard if you have a STEM background and are used to approaching subjects critically. Yeah, that's something I've thought about more with, like, as the world gets more complicated, and especially now that we have AI, and that also especially that, like, that we have I think there are more examples now of there's a convergence of really three major things now. Yes, everything's more complicated. Like in 500 years ago, when you were a farmer, you didn't believe about like potato conspiracies or something because you could like see potatoes and work with them with your hands and stuff. But 5G towers are really complicated, and the average person has no intuitive framework for reasoning about that. And even if you actually have an electrical engineering degree, like there's people who say like 5G towers are like 100% safe and there's no hazards and stuff like that. But if they actually do output a lot of energy. So like, I mean, if you physically walk up to an antenna, you can like touch it and get electrocuted, which is dangerous. And there is a region where if you're extremely close to it, you can get hurt by it. And then with the newest versions, they're more complicated. So there's because they have phased array antennas, you can do like directional. You can direct. That makes them more efficient and have higher directional gain. But it also means if you wanted, you could maybe use that as a weapon. So there's probably even like, people with engineering degrees who will still get into arguments with you about what you can or can't do with that technology. And I think moving forward, it's just going to get worse. Like the percentage, if you just think about the percentage of the population who's going to be preoccupied with potentially like false analyses of like what is happening in the world. Like I've even seen that from my own experience around just like talking to people here in Kitchener and like working with people dealing with the rent eviction stuff. Like there's just so much information. The world is just so complicated. It's becoming impossible for people to figure out like what is going on. And it's even worse when like some people attribute things to conspiracies because there are conspiracies. Like, I mean, for example, all the Epstein stuff that's coming out now, like all those kind of, like those are real. That's no longer hypothetical anymore. There's established facts, and people went to jail, and so it's not surprising, given what we're seeing now, that there's like there are people deliberately trying to do bad stuff. I stopped caring about the world and its problems. I've been far happier. I have more time and can do more for people I care about. Yeah, I think that's a good approach for a lot of these big problems. They're so significant that it's very difficult for the average person to make a dent in it. If you can just focus on building up your own life and the people around you, it's likely a lot more impactful, or at least your ability to have agency in doing that is much greater. Don't worry about it. You trade it. Excellent. As long as you do it successfully and don't lose all your money. if you don't focus on the promoted problems, how will you be able to take sides on the promoted take sides on the promoted sides? Yeah, I don't know what to say about that, but presumably there are some. there's a push in the media to get people to focus on certain things. Let's me be more positive about things. Yeah, there's definitely like when I look at, things have been particularly crazy recently. I ask myself, like, should I even be thinking about this? Like, is it just wasting my time? But then again, like, given that I've chosen to pursue a business, I think you do have to be at least a bit like in tune with what's going on geopolitically. Just because that has so much of it kind of tells you where you have to be looking and developing for the future. Because if you don't know which way the world is going in business, you're going to get blindsided. I respect that. Personally, I feel social responsibility to be informed. I think there's actually there's like a cost benefit analysis that you can do. Like if you one strategy would be to like actually spend like all day only consuming news and like being like a political React streamer and trying to like inform people and sway public opinion and stuff. But then like those people don't actually like do stuff and are kind of disconnected from like they don't actually build bridges or anything. Like they just talk about what should be done instead of actually doing it. But then the other extreme would be you actually just focus on like building your life up, becoming powerful, like just make a bunch of money. And then if you have money and like you actually build stuff in the world, that's the end result of the change that you actually want. So even if you just like never watch news and work minimum wage, you'll have some money. You could donate that to a cause or use it to build a house in the woods and live in it. Oh yeah, okay. Right, we're getting more complex. Is your new video out performing your dangerous short? I don't think so. I have to look at. Actually, I don't really have a good comparison for it. Because when it like ranks my videos, it ranks them according to the category, so it'll get ranked against previous long form videos, and shorts are in their own separate category. I think it's probably not getting as many views. Shorts usually do get more. I think that one was the video posted today was it's a 6 out of 10, but it was almost tied to become a 5. Robert, I'm still laughing with the fruit basket in the world domination video. You're funny AF. Excellent. I'm glad people seem to like that video, and they like the theme of the new society on Axel Heiberg. So I'll maybe and we'll see if I get around to it. I'd like to do another follow up to that. It'll probably be a bit before I get around to it. Expand on my world domination plans. Why do you code at night? Honestly, I think when I first started this series, it was just kind of in the evening, and as a form of habit, I decided to just keep doing it around the same time every day. And then I kind of informally, during the day, I have like something that I work on, and then I usually exercise every other day, just after lunch, and then have a shower. So it's 10 o'clock ends up being the time when I get started. Would love a follow-up. Yeah, I'll have to think, honestly, the scripting, just like writing up the ideas, takes a bit of time. And then also actually for that video, there were a few people that said they hated the AI images. But honestly, the AI images are the best part for me. In fact, that was the most time consuming part of the video, was coming up with writing a prompt. It's not that, it's like a paragraph. But then like tweaking it to get the AI image, and for a lot of the images, it took I would do like 20 iterations with ChatGPT image generator, which is quite. I even signed up for the paid plan, and it's quite slow. So for some of them, it even though it's AI, it took me like a whole day to get the to actually get the image that I wanted. Although I was kind of working on something on the side, I'd request the prompt, and then work on something and get distracted. And that's one of the main annoying things, that the image generator takes like 2 minutes to make it. And then I work on something else and get distracted, and tell a lot of effort was put into it. AI images contributed to campiness of it all. Excellent. Yeah, there were a few pointed comments that said they really disapprove of the AI image generator, but I love it's just such a great way to communicate an idea if you can actually see a picture. Can we get a video of the fruit basket with more, with a note being shipped to Denmark? I think it's Norway. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like I said, if, you can look up Axel Heiberg. He was the person. Okay, Bunker. How are we taking out? Maybe we'll have to team up with Elon Musk and his boring company or something. We'll have to get once we get the Deepwater port built, we can ship up some boring machines. Sonic Hammer. Not familiar with Sonic Hammer. Elon Musk is boring. He's always in the news, though. Boring rental? Oh yeah, that's a good idea. We could just rent it. What are you programming? I'm working on some test cases for a, well, actually I can show. I'm working on some test cases to merge together pieces of text. So I have there's like 5 different layers of text. So I'm just making some like fuzz testing to catch the bugs in my code. And this is all part of a terminal-based video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks. All right, so we've got randomized colors. Is it all command line? Like command line game? Yeah, I can build it. It's currently got a bunch of bugs in it, but so here's what it looks like. There's currently a bunch of bugs in it. It makes things in the UI disappear. But I go over here. Can't see my character, but you press spam the M key to mine blocks. And then you can go down a level. Yeah, anyway, so I'm just working on fixing those like disappearance bugs and all the layer merging madness. Didn't really find anything past ByteBuddy for writing Java bytecode during runtime. I'm not even familiar with Byte Buddy. Cool game. Excellent. I'm glad you like it. What if there was a random bug every once in a while roaming around the block mining game that causes the game to crash if the player touches the bug? Or like a bug character in the game. I guess you can add that, but people, that'd be unpleasant. I have no idea what to use it for. Bug toggle. I'm not sure what you're saying. You're talking about Byte Buddy? I'm not familiar with that. Unpleasant, but also epic. I don't know. I doubt the epicness of that. Now for the other guy's idea to put a toggle. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I could have some options in it. To turn on the bug behavior. So one of the next things I need to think about is I think every screen layer should have like an offset associated with it. Is it open source? The source code is available. It's not open source. It's a proprietary license, but the source code is available. If you go down to the description, there should be a link there. Richard Stallman does not approve of my license. Yeah, but Richard Stallman is poor. I'm gonna be rich. Touche indeed. Huge wave hitting around Japan. I saw before I came on, when I was looking for information about it, I did see someone posted a thing saying it hit Japan, but then it's also like every time there's something like this, I'll see a bunch of people making posts on Twitter. They're like, "Wow, look at this crazy Japan, crazy tidal wave," and it's like from 7 years ago in some other country. But I think I read that it said it was 8.7 magnitude, that's very, very large. I can't remember. Does anyone remember how big was the 2011 earthquake? That was like a 9 or something? All right. don't think magnitude will translate to how big the wave. Yeah, it also depends on the, like how the motion is, and if it's like a totally horizontal motion, you don't get any wave. But if it's like a upward or downward thrust. Did you see Cloud Senate 7 will have a rate limit? If you hit it, you lose access to prompts for 7 days. That's weird. That's honestly, that's one of the biggest issues about AI. Some of the results, at least for the AI image generation, I really like it, but the fact that you just get like arbitrary, it's like even with the paid plan, I had to like, you would say you're, you've made enough requests or you're rate limited or something, you have to wait like some arbitrary amount of time. People are going to have AI withdrawal. That's insane. That's like such a such a buzzkill to your like productivity. Like who would want to use? Think about that for anything else. Like who would want to use a debugger if you like? There's some rate limiting on your debugger. Like if you use the step function in your debugger too many times, then like it'll just turn off and be like, nope, you can't debug step on this for 7 days. Programming is all about like testing and iteration. And great work on your video today. Thank you. Hopefully that. I mean, honestly, it's the advice in that video is pretty basic. It's kind of just like I don't think there's anything super insightful there, but then again, people always forget that young people, in order to learn things, young people have to hear something for the first time, and if you've never, I had that eureka moment when I was teaching at the college. Like any programmer eventually learn some kind of source control, but all the students at the college down there, they've been like passing around files on like a USB key, and they would save it to a USB key or like email it around, and then I introduced some of them to Git because they had never heard of Git before, and they've been coding in school for like 2 years. So everyone has to learn things for the first time somewhere. Who would want to use a language server if it had rate limits? Yeah, it's Anthropic customers apparently would. Yeah, I wonder, like, it must be prohibitively expensive in terms of the like energy consumed. Which is kind of incredible. That like, if you can afford the electricity, you could have like super intelligent AI, but it's just cost too much. All right, that'll work. I thought your new video was very nuanced and thoughtful. Excellent. I feel for them as humans, they should probably relax a little. The AIs, you mean? Do you like sports? Nope. No interest in sports. Just need a GPT that can analyze documentation and answer my dumb use case questions. I think it's getting pretty good at that. User interface thread state. $362. Oh, I see. What are your thoughts on sports betting and the broader societal impacts of legalization on CIA in the United States? I have no opinion on that, and I did not even know that was a thing. Rag app for technical documentation. Real world use case. What OS is that? This is Ubuntu. I run Temple OS, by the way. That's impressive. A bunch of people, I think, have done some work on OS. They gave it like network access, even though that was, I think, against Terry Davis's wishes. Terry didn't make it to the AI boom, or he would make it a Temple AI. Yeah, I wonder what Terry's take would have been on ChatGPT. I'm about to buy the entire JetBrains suite. Rider plus Dot Ultimate. Never even tried those. Is Ubuntu your main OS? Yeah, usually. If I want to get something done, Ubuntu is the easiest way to accomplish that. All right, I made a little bit more incremental progress tonight. I'll probably stop there for now. And I guess tomorrow I don't have to work on any new videos, so I'll probably try and push this forward a little bit. See if I can finally get the test case that figures out what's going on with the other UI. But I'll be back tomorrow for day 97. All right, have a good night, guys.